Let me into my zone. Let me into my zone. Let me into my zone. Please don't let me in. Don't play that, hate that, take you down, don't say that. Money, me, $2, telling you now, this payback. So I take that, ask them now, what's stage at? I've been going to the top and I got what they not, so I know that they hate that. But I'm on that. All these men gonna zone out. And all these men gonna tell you what I did and they twist and they work till I fall out. But I know that, so I keep what I'm doing cause I own that. And I stay in the lab and I kill everything, but I don't ever move from a combat. So yo, finally back in my home. I'm working and I saw no other that's why I had me a call. It's my phone, now just leave it there, that's home. All in, can't beat me up cause I'm back in my zone now.
Having a great strap, an almost banging wheel.
Cause I'm back in my zone now.
Don't get greedy now, mate. Let's go settle down.
Well, welcome back. It's what you officially call in professional circles a take two. Apparently, we were having the most amazing conversation about Monday night's incident report after round 11 at Spa, but none of you could hear us. So let's see if things are working this time around. Welcome to my panel. Obviously, Jonathan Bentz and Wayne Riddell are our technical guys that are dishing out all the penalties, and Tasmin Pepper, fellow commentator. I'm going to start, Jonathan, with you. Yeah. We started out many months back with what is a very ambitious ATK Pro Series program, 12 rounds. We're nearly there. 4th of October, we wrap it all up where we started at Kyalami. Talk me through your input. You've been heavily involved in all of this. You've been involved in the sim community for a long time.
Yeah.
Brave move to do this, but are you happy with what you've seen and how the series has progressed?
Yeah, I mean, 12 rounds is particularly long for, any sim racing championship, and a lot of communities specifically don't run series this long because of the burnout factor that the drivers get. So, it was a risky move of ours to push for such a long season, but we had to do it because we had to get the full season in before Kyalami 9 hour, which was kind of the end game the whole time. So, it has been a long round. We've lost a few drivers along the way, and the drivers that have stuck around are really just we're so appreciative of them, and they like the cream of the crop at the moment. And in terms of incidents, it improves every round. The way the drivers deal with incidents improves every round, and we'll always have incidents where the drivers just have brain fade or something. There will always be incidents that are just flat out mistakes, and there'll be incidents where drivers just misjudge themselves. I mean, that is the tie into real life motorsport as well.
Welcome to the real world, but that's how it happens. Taz, it's quite interesting hearing what Jonathan's saying there. I mean, that's the reality, though, for the real racing driver. If this is your chosen career path, I know, for you sit there committed to W Series, but I mean, you could be flitting backwards and forwards doing Polo Cup here in South Africa if you wanted to. Look at your brother, look at Kelvin Sheldon. Obviously, Sheldon's now DTM, but now he's also Nürburgring this weekend. That is what happens. Every single weekend, the guys are racing because that is their jobs. And I think that is, I suppose, what we're trying to encourage guys to do with a series like this is commit to it, commit to their career, and commit to becoming better and better at their craft.
Well, if it's something they want to do and pursue for the future, it's something then they obviously got to commit to, and they got to start taking it seriously. Just like you say, the guys from overseas that are racing, they are racing every weekend. I think Jordan, this is the first weekend he's had off in the last 6 weeks. So they're busy every single weekend. If they're not at the racetrack, they're busy training for the next race. So they're sitting on the sims, they're sitting on the stuff. And yes, it's their full-time job. And I understand a lot of guys still have a full-time job at home. But if you commit to a championship, it's all you don't really pull out of the championship until it's complete. It's just something that always happens, whether you last in the championship or you first in the championship. You got to follow through. So it's nice to see most of the guys that's exactly what they're doing. And it's a shame to see some of the guys pulling out because they're simply not happy with their performance or where they're at in the championship. And hopefully we start seeing a change in that in the future.
Well, look, I think definitely for the final round, there's a really cool incentive that's been thrown the way of the guys with when we go into that seeding round, the top 50, I'm told the top 50 seeded some races for that final ATK Pro Series round at Kyalami. Those guys will actually get tickets to attend the Kyalami 9 hour when that happens in December. So I'm expecting us to see a full grid. Obviously, we amalgamated both into one, our Pro-Ams and Pros. So we only had one race with 36 drivers, but you had Spa, 7-kilometer track. There's lots of space for all the guys to fit in and have their fun. So that is what we had this weekend. Wayne, we also had a safety car. We're going to get into those incidents and have a look at those in a little while. But the safety car is something that you and Jonathan have pioneered working together to kind of find a way to make sim racing work in a way where there are incidents that are going to happen naturally, but people still get to be a part of the race and not lose out by one mistake on the first lap.
Marius, that's exactly what I think Spa this weekend that just passed now is exactly why we brainchild and championed the idea of a safety car. Look, it's a double-edged sword, because we don't have the real life experiences of the carnage and the chaos. But we also believe that in sim racing, that competitors are innocent bystanders. They cannon fodder in a bowling alley, and you kind of don't want to destroy a guy's aspiration. You want to give him that opportunity to reset and join the back of the grid. So that was one of the ideas as to why we did it, and it clearly, as you saw this weekend, it kind of worked, because the kind of carnage we had, and on a 7-kilometer long circuit, even with the guys resetting, going back to the pits to try and make up that gap, that 7Ks back into the melee, it's just too much to ask. So I think that the safety car worked really well. And when I joined the team, I come from motorsport world, and for me, sim was, what is sim racing? And I must tell you, I'm a couple of rounds in now, and I couldn't wait to get behind my desk yesterday afternoon to get racing back here, because I really enjoy it. So Warren is probably chuckling in the background now, saying, "There we go, we've got him hooked." But I really am enjoying it, and the definition of sim is simulate. So we want to simulate the real world and give the guys who don't have the budgets to go racing the proper experience at a good GT championship for a relative low entry level. And I think this ATK series absolutely offers that.
Well, that for me is also what's so cool, and why your role along with Jonathan is so critical too, because I think a lot of the time these sort of things can be considered a crash fest because there is no consequence, there's no damage to pay.
That's changing, trust me.
I'm saying, there's no risk to limb.
Yeah.
But I think by putting in and implementing really strict guidelines according to what happens in normal motorsport terms, I think is really educating the drivers too. And that's why, like Jonathan said, we're seeing less incidents. We as commentators are seeing drivers kind of going door to door and leaving space through corners and not doing silly things, because they start realizing that there is consequence. So well done to you and to Jonathan. I know it's not an easy job at all, but I just think, looking back over the season, it's my first time involved in the world of sim racing as well, and it's been a real eye opener. And that race yesterday, 50 minutes literally flew by, even though we had a safety car, because it's just, the racing is good. There's so much stuff to talk about. It's not just someone running away. Sure, Sherrod Jordan won it and ran away with it, but there were so many good races right up to the line, from 2nd to 7th, were all in a battle, and it could have happened over the line.
It was so busy. I mean, 7Ks, you thought, we thought we're going to get a cup of coffee in here and just sit back and watch some racing. I promise you, I saw no racing. All Jonathan and I did, we just, 22 incidents is what we viewed. We viewed 2 incidences, and then suddenly I was like, what happened to the game? Has it frozen? And I looked in the top right-hand corner and the checkered flag was out. I was like, what?
No, I gave it 3 minutes to go, and I realized, no, that was the time. The race is over.
That's exactly my point. It was crazy, man. It was crazy.
Well, the good thing, let's get into our incident report. The good thing is we do not have 22 incidents. Otherwise, we'll be here in the final round at Kyalami. You guys have selected 4 for us. Jonathan, I'm going to hand over to you. Let's talk us through.
Before we run to Jonathan, I just want the guys to know that Jonathan and I view everything, including a wing mirror taken off. Yeah. They need to know this. This is not, we're not blind and we're not selective. We view everything.
Okay.
So I want that point made.
But also what's critical is we cannot, in this incident report, view everything. So
no, absolutely not. No.
We've selected, you guys always put together a good mix. Tasmin and I haven't seen these, so this will be first time we're looking at it. And I mean, most of the things, I think penalties have already been issued. But it's just really for our feedback and opinion as well. So Jonathan, talk us through lap 1 incident with Donnie Miller and Jason Van Rooyen. Let's have a look at that and then talk us through what happened.
This was the first half of the incident that brought out the safety car. At the end of this incident, you'll actually see the second incident occurring, but we'll deal with the second incident after that. So we have the first tap there, then the second tap, and then 3 cars affected in this incident. And we were already looking at it, and myself and Wayne, and going, is it bad? And then they literally drive 2 more corners. And it's just carnage.
And it's carnage all over again.
Yeah.
This is a really tricky part for me on the circuit. I mean, Taz, we spoke about it. Like, you don't always realize just how much elevation change there is at a circuit like Spa. Sure, from that start angle we saw, so cool looking down to Eau Rouge. But I mean, this is kind of the drop down from the top of the Kimball Straight and working our way down. Turn 14 is kind of halfway down. It's follow my leader. Not really great places for overtaking, but if you do put a car on the outside and the guy leaves you space, you can be lining up one corner onto the next, but you really have to trust the driver outside of you. It's easy for people to fall over each other.
Yeah, like I said I said yesterday as well, and you've just repeated it really. If you can't really see around the corner, it's really hard to see if there is any mess or if there is a mess around this little section, and you kind of passenger at that point, and whatever happens. You can try and avoid as many things as you can, but it's very difficult when there's 5 cars across the entire track in front of you. I think.
And looking at this incident, Taz, pretty straightforward, eh?
Yeah, Miller got a bit optimistic.
Yeah, I think from my point of view, he literally missed his braking point by maybe 2 meters.
The thing is, it kind of looks like he was going past the one person and then saw a bigger opportunity and was like, oh, I can make up another position, This is what it looks like to me. Like, he goes and then he's only going past one person. He's like, oh, no, they've slowed down a little bit. Let me try and get another one. That's what it kind of looks like.
He might have been sucked into watching it. It was Sean Mumford on his left in the Porsche, so he may have been caught up watching him for the overtake, and like Jonathan said, very easy to then miss that break point. Have a look at him. Yeah, he goes, oh, there we go. And look, I mean, he tries to back out of it, but and did take a line towards the curb and the grass, but contact.
I think
straightforward.
I think he didn't have enough. He didn't have more brakes. You see, he should brake before that billboard, and he brakes just after it. So he didn't have any more brakes to back out of that.
Look,
so,
Marius, I think a big story here is that he was running into a diminishing gap. The guys are realizing that, if you look at a wedge, it's a triangle. You're going to get to the sharp end eventually, and it is to be expected that you're going to get to a point. You've got to make sure that you're comfortable to get past that person before you get to the sharp edge of that point. He's running into an ever-diminishing gap. It was inevitable.
Look, the cool thing, I mean, just watching his reaction afterwards. I mean, obviously we're on board now with Jason Van Rooyen, so it doesn't really help us. If you look at Donnie, I think he realized, for me, this wasn't anything deliberate. I think he literally just made a mistake, outbraked himself. And what I liked is that he did try to get to the grass. If you have a look how far and how tight he turned this over, this above view might show it here. He actually does take a run and tries to have a look. He goes onto the curb. He's put a wheel on there to try and avoid contact. So, look, it doesn't matter whether he did or didn't avoid or if it was done on purpose or not. It was a racing incident that he was responsible for. What did you chew penalty-wise for this?
We haven't penalised on this one yet, so I think we're looking at a 15-second there.
Yeah, because you know what the problem is. I mean, I know this did bring out the safety car, and what you were saying earlier is spot on, because like that's a nothing incident. But it's because around the corner the guys can't see, so they're coming through full taps, and suddenly there are 2 cars spinning. The guys don't know where to go because it is hidden here. That is what makes it so difficult. So, are we going 15 seconds because of the fact that it resulted in a multiple pileup in a safety car? Would that have been 15 seconds if that hadn't have been the case?
Yeah, it's 15 seconds is. I mean, the only penalty up from the 15-second would be a drive-through, and. Obviously, the race is already finished and it should have been dealt with.
So I think, Marius, just to answer your question, if it was just the 2 of them in the corner, I think a 5-second.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. So the only reason we've got 15 seconds...
Yeah, went 15 because it was... Guys have got to start thinking there's consequences for their actions. And their actions is not just the 2 of them. It's everybody else. You're spoiling it for a whole lot of other people.
Jonathan Wayne, what would have happened then? I mean, like you're saying, this should have been dealt with in the race, and it wasn't because you guys were keeping the safety car else. In the race, what would you have issued penalty-wise? Would it have been a drive-through?
Not second. Yeah, I think this next incident may be a different situation. But this would have been a 15.
Okay, happy. So that's done now. So that 15-second penalty is obviously logged onto the time, and that's going to see him, I'm assuming, dropping down from the overall position at then. Okay, that's cool. I mean, that was pretty straightforward, easy one, nothing to argue about then. I'm sure Donnie won't be aggrieved by that either. I think looking at it, he realized, he knew at the time that he had outbraked himself and made a mistake there. Let's have a look at our second incident, which kind of is a continuation of this, a little bit further down the road at Spa, further down the hill, involving William Wentworth, Richard van Coller, and Brent Lindsay Ray. So let's have a look at that, Jonathan.
Cool. Okay, we cut in there quite early, but what you're seeing is Brent Lindsay Ray and Van Coller having a bit of a ping pong battle there. There was a very specific mistake that kind of triggered this entire thing. You see, what are we on board with now?
That is
Van
Coller. Yeah, that above shot's obviously better to see because on the
watch this.
So you see, Brent was off track.
Wait for the next one, Tazzy. I'm waiting for your comment.
Yeah.
Next one.
So when you can't squeeze past him on the tar, you will automatically go
Watch this.
drop.
Watch this. Look at this.
Nothing. Yeah, I think
all track limits.
I think there was optimism in hoping that gap would form, but at the end of the day, he couldn't make the overtake off track anyhow.
Yeah.
So
no, he's already not on the track, like you said. Like yes, he's on tar, but he's on the other side of the white line. So
100%.
at any point there, he's wrong, regardless of whether he hits them or he doesn't. And
What bothered me the most was the second dip at the door, because that was actually a deliberate turn into the door from what I saw. You know what I mean? Like the first.
Why are you not moving up the front?
Yeah, like the first bit of contact was almost okay, and then it just got really like dude, move! I'm coming up the inside, you know. So, well, I see what you guys were saying in terms of like you would have probably issued a drive-through for that, because that
definitely would have been a drive-through.
So now what happens? If you can't do a drive-through, is it 15 seconds as well?
No, well, I think you should give them like almost like the equivalent of a drive-through penalty.
Well, in this case, it would more than likely be a qualifying ban.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what we were looking at for the last round.
Taz, no issues with that, eh?
No, not at all.
Yeah. You know, we encourage. I love that, you know, rubbing is racing adage, but I mean, it's also not stock cars, you know. So
100%. No, but this is not cricket. I promise you. This one. I got angry when I got to see this video.
Yeah, it was
really angry.
Cool.
There was. I mean, he was coming past, and he was coming past at speed, so he felt like he was doing an overtake. But the problem is that there was no space for him to overtake. And unfortunately, he had plenty of time to back out of it.
Yeah, but you know, Jonathan, just looking at that again, that first contact, and you realise, oops, he should have then actually tried to go to the grass, but it was his next attempt where he actually really T-boned Richard that put him into that spin. I mean,
Well, seeing that in-car view, seeing that in-car view, there was no specific steering input as a deliberate thing. So I'm not going to look at it from a deliberate incident point of view, but more a case of he should have known better.
Yeah, but
it was very avoidable.
What we were talking about is that the corner's going to the right. So you're saying there's no steering input. Well, there should be a steering input to the right, away from the contact. But he he just continued piloting straight. Look here. That's, you know, like there, he's not trying to, he should be turning even more onto the grass to try and avoid contact, but he's kept the wheel straight and just bumped into him again. So,
I'm going to refer to the opening comment. We're 11 rounds in. This is unacceptable.
Yeah.
And that's it. There's no debate. Unacceptable.
Okay. That's done. That's a quali ban for the final round at Carlisle.
Yeah.
Happy with that. Okay, let's have a look at incident 3. I mean, and this was one that we saw as a commentary team, and I still went, sorry, Morgan McCall, because from the camera angle that we were given watching the race, we just saw Morgan basically on the grass off track, and then we saw a car spinning. We thought, he's gone and obviously lost it. But then we got a replay of it, and he wasn't involved at all. He actually did a great job, and that's remarkable Marcus Steyn and Quade Claessens turn 15. So this again, I mean, all of the action we've been watching has been pretty much the same part of the circuit, which is quite fascinating. Let's have a look.
Actually funny, but what McCall does here is exactly what Brent Lindsay Ray should have done in that previous incident.
Take to the glass.
Correct. Take to the glass and get out of it.
Well, he just like flat on, like hits the brakes and backs out of it. He just knew that gap was 100%. Just disappearing.
100%.
Okay, well, let's have a look at that incident. So this again was an incident that wasn't dealt with in the race. You can have a look. I mean, for him also to stop on the grass, listen, he did really well there. Managed to put the car back onto the tar to get it stopped properly, so he didn't T-bone into them. But this was such a good battle that was going on here. The guys were having a really good race, and we were actually commentating on the fact that they'd been going door to door, corner to corner, and then this happened. So for me, looking at that yesterday, seeing the replay, this is all Marcus Steyn's fault. I mean, there's no two ways. There's no other explanation.
And I think, like in fairness, it's because he's not on his racing line. He's on the right-hand side of the track. He probably doesn't have his usual brake markers on that side of the track. So all it takes is to brake 1 meter too late, and you're ready. And if we see the internal view here, you'll see he just understeered straight into the side of brake. So he wasn't fully in control of his car, and I suspect that corner that he just came out of, he had a massive incident there which gave Quade a great run on him around the outside.
He actually did, because they started from Lacombe. I remember there was a big slipstream down the Kemmel Straight, and I still thought, okay, he's got him around the outside going into Lacombe, and they actually both managed to make it through there, and then down the little super tube they went. And it was only a matter of time before something like this did happen. So you're right, Quade got great drive, as did Morgan. And I think for Marcus, there must have been a lot going on in that car, because he's got a car on the left, a car on the right, and it was just a little mistake.
Yeah.
And I think he was watching McCall. He was watching McCall and didn't realize, oh shit, I need to give him a break.
And also, and I mean, when we watched this during the race, me and Wayne, we were like, we were very concerned what Quade did on the outside. It's like, did Quade turn in too much? You know? No. But the reason why, if you look at Quade's line, he doesn't point for the apex.
No, he's given him space.
That is very key in a situation like this. If he had pointed the car at the apex, he would have been the one at fault.
Yeah, but for us, that's what we keep talking about. Like, you need patience at circuits like this, where those aren't clear overtaking positions. But if your car's door to door, you can keep going door to door off the racing line. There's going to be a compromise in terms of power when you come on. But if the two drivers kind of are happy to play that beautiful little dance together, there is an advantage to be had at the next corner. So, what Quade did, he didn't dive for the apex, and that, for me, he left him enough space. So had Marcus not outbraked himself there, he could have actually stayed on the racing line. He could have been on the curb, and both of them would have got through no problem.
Unfortunately, incident. And this one, we did call a penalty in the race, but I'll take the blame for it. I forgot to implement it because we were dealing with many incidents at once.
We were dealing with them, making notes, but just ready to dish out the penalty. Another beep would go off.
I'm assuming it would have been a 5 second, nothing more than that, eh?
Just want to say, what was McCall thinking to go on the outside? Did he really think he could get him going? Just watch this. He pulls out and thinks he's going to try and overtake him.
Nobody realized.
Well, I think he did exactly what the previous circuit did, didn't he?
That's exactly what I was going. That's where I was going with this.
But he kind of realized that he was in the wrong and actually back.
Wayne,
that's the difference.
But also what's critical for me here is exactly what Jonathan was saying. Marcus had an incident in the corner, and that's why Morgan had such a good run. And because Quade was there, Morgan had nowhere to go, so he went for that outside gap. But the minute he realized that he's running on a road, because have a look, there is an extended piece of tarmac there. And once that tarmac stopped, he went, not going to happen, hit the anchors and pulled back online. So that's intelligent driving. It's a really nice example, having had Brent Lindsay Ray earlier in this. That's just where you kind of go.
It's an exact comparison, ain't
going to happen. Let's back out of it and live to battle. Look at the tarmac here. You see, there's a bit of tar here. And then when it stops, The minute it stops, he backs out of it. So, yeah, that was good driving by Morgan. I mean, that's why he's in the battle for third overall in the series. So, well done there.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so what 5 seconds added, yeah?
Yep. 5 seconds added. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next one is the incident with Adrian
Mumford and Wentworth.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's 2 incidents here, or actually there's 3 incidents here. Actually, sorry. Now that I think about it,
It was a busy Sunday, chaps.
yes.
Yes, that was crazy.
So if we can just have a look at this, you'll first see Adrian Sayed taking a dive on Wentworth. We did watch this one during the race. We were like, you know what, it's fine. Adrian Sayed penalty self-serve, but then he did that unsafe rejoin.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate for Mumford there, coming around the corner to the side of an Audi.
Yeah, but he also, it's very difficult from that point of view because you also can't see who's coming.
No,
Yeah, you do have the data though in the car. And then Adrian's at the top of a Rouge has a self-inflicted incident here. And unfortunately,
same thing again.
same thing again, unsafe track rejoin.
Jeez, man. So that's 2 people taken out. Okay, listen, I want to go with what Taz was saying. I want to have a look at that first one because this is like a proper hairpin turn 1 La Source.
Yeah.
So difficult. So I'm trying to understand what should he have done there?
Okay, so in the car, what you have is you have a little track map with little blue dots going around it.
Yep.
So you would first be able to check that, and then you will also have on the left you have your not the proximity in this case, but you have a timeline of guys that are around you, so you can see how far the guys behind you, whether he's like 2 seconds or 1 second or whatever. So you will see a live real-time reading of the guy behind you, which in this case was Mumford, and the time would be dropping 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and Adrianza pulls out.
But I do love Adrian's line. That was so Max Verstappen at the start of the Formula One race a few years ago, and he moaned at Vettel because Vettel turned into him and going, "Well, you didn't expect to have a car, 2.5 wheels up on the up on the curb on the inside." But what would be interesting, Taz? What would you do in a real race situation there? Because the marshals can't show you. Would you have reversed? Would you have run your car further down the hill to give yourself more visibility before trying to turn around?
No, I think, at that point, all you want to do is you want to get going as fast as possible. And also, like, you've made a mistake, you're up against the wall, you're not sure of who's really coming. So it is hard, and you kind of got to, like...
Also rely on the marshals a bit.
Yeah, it's also like a 50-50. Like, can I go? Can I not go? Maybe pull a little bit forward so that you can sort of notify people that you're not there before you carry on going back.
But Taz, you can't go forward because remember, that's a hairpin. So if he goes and puts his nose there to have a look, the guy coming through on that line is going to take his nose off. Marshals can't help.
Exactly what he did.
He
ignored and collected Mumford.
Exactly. I'm thinking I would reverse. I would roll the car further down because there's a pit lane there, and then you've got time to see. Because listen, the turnaround he did was really good. He didn't go right across the track. Check how he's done a full 180 on the spot. So he had the right idea. He should have done it there.
I think what I would do is I would look for the marshal to kind of give me a guideline before I did it.
What marshal do you know to give you a thumbs up, and then you blame the marshal?
No. What you will have though is you will have marshals with yellow flags, and you will hope that those yellow flags mean that the cars coming are going to watch out for potential danger on the track.
So now you're making Mumford the blame.
A marshal's job is to wave the flag. He's not there to slow down other cars because there's a car around.
No. What I'm saying is yellow flags will be out. Drivers must be aware that there's a possible problem ahead. They need to slow down and be careful.
But Jonathan, you're now saying that Mumford was at fault for
No. We're talking in real life scenario. What would Tasmin do in this situation? And
but it's also relative to the corner though, Jonathan, because it's not a normal corner, it's a hairpin, it's blind. So even though the yellow flags are out and guys are slowing down, they still can't see around the corner, and a marshal can't give Adrianza the thumbs up. Well, he just can't, because what does that mean? So
I fully agree with you. Reverse if you want to, but I am saying that approaching cars must be aware. So, also like Tasmin says, you can kind of inch forward, stick your nose out.
But if you
so that upcoming cars would see you. You don't just blast it around.
But have a look at where Mumford went. So even if he inched forward, Mumford would have still hit him. So
in this scenario, absolutely.
You're all right. You should have gone back. I would have gone backwards.
Yeah, the correct
how far backwards are you going? Are you going down to the bottom of a rouge or?
No. Just 2 or 3 car lengths back. Enough.
Yeah, but keep in mind also that in this situation, the driver knows exactly what cars are coming up. So he could have reversed a bit, and he could have also waited 2 more seconds.
Okay, so we've debated to death the small one. I'm worried about the next one, which is the dangerous return back. That to me is a huge no-no.
That for me is no excuse, because you've got so much.
Yeah. What is this? I mean,
you've got so much real estate to play with. Yeah, when you come on, you know what I mean.
100%.
Yeah, this is very different.
This is naughty. This one got me angry when I saw this. I was like, what?
This one is the same in that he has the same information. He knows which cars are coming.
Yeah, but now you can see what's coming. There's a difference.
Yeah, and he knows it's a dangerous corner again. Once again, just as dangerous, but except higher speed. So he has all the information available to join the track safely.
Yeah, Jonathan as well. I mean, you were speaking about the other flags and guys slowing down. You're talking about La Source, where the first incident happened, where it's a first gear corner for most of the guys. So they literally are crawling around there anyway. Yeah. Versus going through a rouge and over the top. And I'm kind of going, hey, this area, we've seen, last year, Antoine Huber had lost his life here, so you're talking about proper serious high speed, high risk over the
upcoming cars. No, absolutely.
This for me was a nothing compared to the next one, the top of Eau Rouge into Radion. That was just what the hell? That was a no of epic.
What do we do here? Because this, for me, if we've given Brent Lindsay Ray a qualifying ban for the next round,
So on that note, this is essentially 3 incidents compounded. The first incident we could have let slide because it was self-served. But in addition to the seriousness of these 2 track rejoins, it's going to be a qualifying ban as well for the next
Absolutely.
round. Now listen, that doesn't mean that these guys who get qualifying bans are out of the running for getting Kailami tickets. Let's be clear on this, because it's not seeding qualifying ban. It's qualifying ban on Sunday.
So they must seed, get their ticket, make sure they're in the top 50, and then when they get to the qualifying, it doesn't matter what they do in that qualifying run on Sunday.
No, they're sitting it out.
If they only get into Pro-Am, that means they're going to be starting from the back of Pro-Am, which means that they will not be out. They'll be out of the top 50. So the pressure is still on them to earn those tickets.
Correct.
So hang on, this gets interesting now, because they could have, in seeding, I see what you're saying. So in seeding, they actually need to try and make sure they get into the top 30 for pros, because if they qualify for Pro-Am, they're not going to qualify. They're going to seed but not qualify, so they don't get to put up a time. So,
look, we're going to have some unhappy guys, I think, but at the end of the day, guys, you need to take responsibility for your actions. You need to be more aware of your surroundings. You need to be more considerate of your other drivers. So, unfortunately, this is where you put on your big boy panties and take it on the chin.
Well, she said a big boy panties and take it. But listen, I hope that we see Adrianza coming to Kailami, and we don't have a Charles Wilkins story again, because for me, I remember chatting to him. Was it at Suzuka where he won, or he was on the podium. He was the podium in Pro-Am, and he was saying how he's just really improved and worked hard. So I hope he realizes it's constructive criticism we're giving here. We've mentioned at the beginning of this stream, the whole idea is to bring guys up to level with this is what's going to happen in real racing terms. So I hope the guys realize where we're coming from.
I'm reminding everybody, sim is the definition of simulator. We are simulating real life. That's what it is.
And you know, as our discussion even pre-show, when you were saying how sim racing is the new future for kids and everything, because the cost of actual karting and the money that certain people are putting into their kids out there, it's near on impossible to get into real life motorsport at the moment. 100%. And be competitive. So sim racing is what
is the new entry level. It is the new grassroots of motorsport. Absolutely.
Well, you know, we could take this one step further, because there is no consequence in terms of cost and physical. We mentioned this earlier.
Correct.
It's almost crucial that you guys are even more hectic in terms of how you dish out penalties, because the guys need to feel it. Because if that was in the real world now, that would have been probably someone in hospital, you know, through Radion. I mean, that would have been Benjamin Lodger.
Look what happened to Huber. That's just
my point. I think the guys need to start realizing that. I know we've spoken about this a few times. There's been some bitching and moaning and blah, blah. But, yeah, guys, you need to step up. We're trying to make this a professional series, and I suppose everyone needs to behave in a similar fashion. And these are the rules that motor racers abide by. So well done, Jonathan.
100%.
Well done, Wayne, for implementing stuff like this. I think it's critical. It's crucial for the future of sim racing. 100%.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the future of where Pro Series is going is a lot more along these lines. I mean, yeah, sure, we've attempted this year to be as close to real life motorsport as possible, but I don't think anybody has any idea how season 2 of Pro Series is going to take it up even further.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it's very exciting.
We keep hinting at it.
What's coming next year?
It's coming. Trust me. We keep hinting. There's a lot of changes.
Well, listen, it's exciting news. It's been an exciting series up till now. I think let's wrap it up. Thanks for all of your hard work, gentlemen, on Sunday. Because, like you said, 22 incidents. We've just looked at 4. Tazzy, thanks for joining us again, as always. Your real racecraft and insight into things are always so valuable for us on these incident reports. So thank you very much for joining us. To you guys that watched, obviously massive thank you to our sponsors, to Assetto Corsa, to Kyalami 9 Hour, and of course Motorsport South Africa, and our partners Logitech, Corsair, Elgato, and AMD for bringing you what has been an unbelievable 11 rounds. 1 round to go, 4th of October at Kyalami, where we started, and as you heard, up for grabs of that seeding run on the 3rd. 50 places. The top 50 guys will be getting tickets to the actual Kyalami 9 Hour in December. That is incentive enough. Have a fantastic Monday, and we'll see you guys at Kyalami.
Cheers, guys.
Please don't let me into my zone. 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 Please don't let me. Gonna play that, take you down, I'ma say that. I need me a couple dollars. Telling you now, this payback. So I play that. Ask them now, we'll say that. I've been going to the top and I got what they not, so I know that they hate that. All these lanes gonna zone out. And all these lanes gonna tell you what I did, and they twist and they bust till I fall out. But I know that, so I keep what I'm doing cause I own that. And I stay in the lab and I kill everything, but I don't ever move, I'm a call that. So I'm finally back in my home. I'm working and I still know it's this one. Had me a drum. Two hands to my phone, now I just leave it there. All in, can't beat me up cause I'm back in my zone now.
Having a great scrap, an almost banging win.